Weekly garden update. Here's the sweet potatoes. Hopefully this box will fill up. I do have a couple green pepper plants down there. One there. There were just some extra ones I had. I needed a place to put them, so I put them in there. These are the purples. They're going slower, but they're starting to get bigger. You know, it takes a while for this stuff, guys. You know, when you're building your grow boxes and stuff, the first couple years, they just don't do as good as in the future because the nutrients build up in the soil. And this is mostly wood chips and it's loose. But anyways, these are from 3 sweet potatoes. I have about 40 plants in here, I guess. And we'll see how that goes. Our blue potatoes are about ready to harvest. Here is the seedlings that I started from seed, and they were extra. They didn't go in the garden. So I filled some old blue jeans up with dirt and cut some holes in the sides and added some plants. And they're starting to bloom. You can see here. So we should be getting some nice tomatoes on this, and I'll trellis these. Basically, I'll weave them in and out. You see they've gone through right here. And they're coming out the back side, and then they're going to go back in. And I'll just weave them through this, and I'll trellis these tomato plants. And here's the ones on the other side. They're not as tall as those other ones, but they're not doing bad. If you got some extra dirt, some old clothes, you can grow some plants in it. So here's the smaller of the cantaloupes. They're starting to bloom real good. You can see that the cantaloupes are starting to vine real good across the garden. And I might have to put a trellis up to keep them from invading my strawberries. But you can see there's lots of blooms. So we should have lots of cantaloupes. These are the French orange. They're a little bit bigger than a softball. Here's the watermelon plant, and it's actually got baby watermelons. Let's see if we can find some. Here's one over here. It's a little tiny watermelon. These are black diamond. I should get maybe 5 or 6 watermelons. I'll prune back to 5 or 6, that's for sure. I won't just let all of them grow. There was another couple on here that were a little bigger, but I can't find them at the moment. But we do have some watermelons growing. Oh, there it is. There's one. Let's walk over here and I'll show it to you. Here's a watermelon growing right there. And this one here is a little bit bigger. Not huge, but little baby watermelons. That's kind of cool. Let's go over and look at these beans. My peas aren't doing so good. I've harvested off the first set of peas, and you can see that, you know, they're decent size. This one isn't filled up quite yet. But these plants here have all been harvested, and they're reblooming, giving me a second pea. Some of them are dying back. The other row of peas, they're starting to come in. And down here, you can see right here, we're getting some peas. Some peas. You know, it's just, it's not real vigorous over here. We don't have a lot of sun, and but, you know, there's some peas coming in. I wish my plants were, you know, yay tall, yielding a bunch of peas, but they're not. We're gonna have to mend the soil and mound it. These are the beans. These are pole beans. You can see they're starting to climb nice. The ones that have more sun do better, obviously. But they're starting to blossom. I can see some blooms coming on some of them. But these are the pole beans that are working up this trellis that I made. Over here are the Blue Lake green beans. You can see that the beans are starting to get nice and long. They'll start fattening up like this one here. And they'll get fat. They stretch and then they fill in. And the corn, awful. It just never germinated correctly. You know, I put 4 rows of corn in. This should be, you know, 4 foot tall and whatever. I'm not happy with the corn. So that was a kind of a failure of the garden so far this year, is my corn. It's pathetic. Not everything's a win, guys. All right, so these are the 4th of July tomatoes. These went in last, and they'll probably bear fruit first. We're starting to get some tomatoes on them. You can see here. Some more tomatoes right there. You know, these won't be big giant tomatoes, but they'll be tomatoes. And then you can see that the rest of the tomato plants, they're looking pretty darn good. Now remember, I pulled blossoms on these to get them big, so they have more root ball to develop bigger tomatoes. And you can see the tomatoes are coming in. We have tons of different varieties. See the tomatoes. There's 2 tomatoes. These are the ones that I'm really interested in, these brandywines. These are going to be amazing, guys. I can't wait. I've got a half a row of brandywines here, and then another half a row here. So I got 2 rows of those. And I've got Mortgage Lifter, and I've got Mr. Stripey, and I've got Black Crim, and I've got Jet Stars, and I've got some Sun Golds and Super Sweet 100s. Got quite a few different kinds. Here's the Jet Stars. These are the only ones that I put in as a seedling. This one here. They claim to yield 600 pounds of tomatoes per plant, right? That's a lot of tomatoes, right? I wouldn't need to plant anything else. Wrong. But anyways, they are pumping in pretty good. They got probably the best development so far of tomatoes. You can see. And they're just coming in everywhere on these Jet Stars. So I'm pretty excited. My mother-in-law says it's her favorite tomato, and she gave us these. Cindy, they're kicking butt. We had a nice rain the last few days, and it really helped these plants. Now the way I trellis, I don't use tomato cages. I use these long sticks, and then I use baling twine, okay? And the baling twine just wraps around and holds it in place right down the row. And we're about due for another section of baling twine because they're tall enough. These plants will end up, 6 feet tall when they're done stretching. They're already at probably 4 foot tall, some of them. But so that's the garden, guys. Lots of tomato plants. I have 120 tomato plants. That was my main crop, is tomatoes. And then I was trying to get some sweet corn, which I might get a few years. Trying to get some beans, some cantaloupes, and yeah, that's it, guys. The broccoli just got destroyed. It was vigorous and beautiful and tall like this, and then within 2 days, no kidding, they were 8 down to this. It's just so sad to see your labor just get chewed up. The Japanese beetles, man, they just came out and went crazy. I mean, this plant, I might get a broccoli head off this. It's starting to head up on this one, but look at the daggum holes in these from these Japanese beetles, man. They just went crazy on it. This one might live, but yeah. And I put some pepper plants in place of some of them, but I don't know if they're gonna do. The cauliflower, it's done. Got a little green pepper coming on this one. Woohoo, yeah, right. Kicking butt, right? Nope, it's not. My romaine lettuce is looking okay. I got a few nice heads coming in. This one's starting to come up. This one's going to seed already. I don't know what the deal is on that, but I have a few romaine lettuce, and I've got some broccoli going to seed. And I'm going to let it seed up, and then I'll grow from this seed. This is Pac-Man, and we'll get this in the ground colder next year. So basically I'm growing this for seed, not for food.